Next on Worcester News Tonight, a city man faces a murder charge. The new details in the killing caught on tape. And celebrating the holidays for a good cause. Good evening, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim McCone. A popular Christmas lights display in Leicester is back on tonight, but the homeowners are facing some obstacles dealing with the large crowds who come to their small neighborhood. This past weekend, police were called to clear the streets as thousands visited. Our Andy Madison has more.
During the day, it's a quiet neighborhood. At night, it's a different story.
We ended up with a minimum 3,500 people down here Saturday night. And they were parked all over the place. They don't know where to park, the people. They're literally coming in from Boston.
Scott Weichel and his wife has transformed their home into a winter wonderland of Christmas. But the display is falling victim to its popularity.
I don't blame the neighbors for anything the other night. It has gotten out of control.
Every night, the light show attracts thousands to the area. This past weekend, they saw one of their largest crowds ever. But that also led to problems with parking and traffic.
Don't seek out details, but obviously there is a traffic concern down there and something needs to be done.
Saturday night, police were called to the neighborhood to clear the street. The next day, Scott felt it might be best to unplug the lights. Then he got a visit from a Good Samaritan.
She said, no, it's all taken care of. I went up and paid the police detail for you for the weekends, and so turn them back on. And that was just truly amazing. I did not know this young lady. She just did it out of the goodness of her own heart.
A woman named Holly pitched in to help. One of many who has offered to help with parking and traffic on the street. With only one more weekend before Christmas, police are also working on a traffic strategy so that the show can continue.
We like to see the holiday light show continue. We also have to address the concerns of the neighbors about the parking and the congestion on the street.
Next year is a whole nother thing. We may not be able to next year, so.
With less than 2 weeks until Christmas, police and the neighborhood look for a balance so that the show can go on. Andy Madison, Worcester News Tonight.
Leicester's Police Chief James Hurley tells us his department will be looking into some sort of traffic plan to try to come up with a solution for this weekend. Well, it is the season of giving, and an annual event is making sure area kids in need get a Christmas gift this year. Our Brittany Schaefer reports from tonight's Holiday Rock event.
This is the 12th annual Holiday Rock event here at Viva Bene, where hundreds have gathered to spread the holiday cheer.
This is the 12th year we've had this event, and each year gets bigger and bigger.
This is such a great event. People look forward to it all year. They come out for Holiday Rock. You have a great DJ, and every year you have a great band.
Thousands of dollars in toys ranging from a Frozen-themed scooter to a replica police cruiser are donated each year. The proceeds all go to either the Guild of St. Agnes, the Friendly House, or the Boys and Girls Club of Worcester.
So many people need help during the holidays when it comes to toys for families and children, and the idea that someone would be without a toy or without the ability to celebrate Christmas is unthinkable to people in this community.
The executive directors of two of the receiving charities say that giving the gifts to the children is the most rewarding part of the season.
We, along with a few of the other organizations in the city, will be the recipient of the toys for so many of our children, and I think it's one of the most gratifying things of the season.
I think when you see the kids in our programs and their faces when we give them the gifts, or give their parents the gifts, sometimes you see their faces and sometimes they're actually brought to tears. So it's very rewarding.
Over $5,000 and hundreds of toys are donated to this event each year. The owner of Viva Bene says the demand for charitable items is even larger than years before. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
A deadly accident on the commuter rail tracks in Ashland leads to major delays on the Worcester line. Transit police say an Ashland woman in her 50s was struck by a train while trespassing on the right-of-way around 5:30 tonight. This was in the area of Cherry Street and Tilton Ave. The accident is still under investigation. Inbound trains from Worcester were delayed up to 105 minutes. An investigation is underway in Worcester after an overnight fire claimed the lives of two senior citizens. Tonight, we're learning the victims are brother and sister. The Worcester Fire Department confirms 85-year-old Mary Grace Fusaro and 71-year-old Nicholas Fusaro died in Sunday's fire. Fire investigators and police were at the home throughout the day. They're working to determine a cause, but do say it appears the fire was burning for some time before the first 911 call.
At this time of year, for all of us, we take it personally whenever we lose anybody, and you know, at this time of day, it's unusual to have a fatal at this time of night. So it's hard to take as a firefighter.
Neighbors say the Fusaros had lived in the home on Burncoat Street for decades. Her gruesome killing was caught on surveillance cameras, and today, the man police call the primary suspect in Charisse Hill's murder faces a judge. It was an emotional hearing in court Monday, and our Olivia Lemon was there and has more.
Luis Melendez-Rivas faces a murder charge in Worcester District Court. Police say the 33-year-old Worcester man was the primary suspect in the fatal stabbing of 31-year-old Charisse Hill.
It is alleged that on December 2nd, 2015, in Worcester, Luis Melendez-Rivas did assault and beat Charisse Hill with intent to murder such person. By such assault and beating, did kill and murder such person.
Court records show Hill was stabbed 19 times. Surveillance video from Kirsch Liquors captured the fatal stabbing and was used as evidence in the investigation. Hill's mother, Priscilla Walker, shouted out in court when she thought she heard the suspect may get bail.
Are you kidding me? Are you giving him a bail? For killing my child, you're giving him a bail?
Melendez-Rivas was held without bail. Hill's family didn't speak to media after the arraignment, but they did tell us last week she was a talented woman who went through difficult times after being diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
Sponsors of the Greater Worcester Goods for Guns buyback program are marking one of its most successful years to date. A total of 271 firearms were collected in the 16 communities who took part. These are some of the guns collected at the Worcester Police Department. More than 50 replica BB or pellet guns were also turned in. The guns were exchanged for gift cards. The Goods for Guns buyback program started 14 years ago in Worcester. This year's event was the largest as more area towns have joined. State Treasurer Deb Goldberg introduces a first-of-its-kind program to help students in Worcester save for college. Goldberg announced the Seed MA program at the Jacob Hyatt Magnet School Monday. The program is available to all kindergarten students in Worcester. Starting next year, each will receive $50 to start a college savings account. Worcester was chosen to start the pilot program.
Worcester is really the heart of the Commonwealth, and it has the absolute best partners that you can work with, whether it is in city government or with the legislators.
So this is just like kind of hand in glove for us in terms of one more way of working with parents about the importance of going to college, but preparing financially to achieve that milestone.
Seed MA is meant to get more children saving for college by providing financial education programming to students and families. The program received a $50,000 investment from Santander Bank. Well, a couple of major roadways in the city are set to get a major makeover in 2016. The city manager's office announcing today Shrewsbury Street will be completely repaved. Work on the street is expected to begin in April and finish in the fall of 2016. The city will also reconstruct a large portion of Hamilton Street and its sidewalks as part of the project. The city expects the upgrades to cost $3.6 million, which will be funded through CSX mitigation funds. Funding is in place for a new apartment complex in downtown Worcester. Citizens Bank is providing more than $41 million in a construction loan to a developer to build a 237-unit complex. The building will be on the corner of Foster and Front Streets. Rosenlund will build the apartment complex as the first phase of its planned housing developments in the area known as City Square. Honoring those who served the country this holiday season. Wreaths were laid at dozens of graves in Worcester's Hope Cemetery this weekend. Our Patricia Nicholas got a close look at the national program remembering the sacrifices made by veterans.
Paying respects to the men and women who protected the country. A younger generation laid the first wreaths at veterans' graves in Worcester's Hope Cemetery.
They've done so much for our country, and it's just about showing respect, being here, laying a wreath on a veteran's grave, and it's just a a lot of respect that we give to our veterans.
Members of the Worcester Cadet Squadron of Civil Air Patrol, South High School's Air Force Junior ROTC, and other residents placed 81 wreaths on veterans' graves on Saturday. It was part of Wreaths Across America's National Day. It was the 4th year the organization has come to Worcester. The wreaths are funded by donations.
It's being a good citizen, you know, being a good patriot, doing the right thing, honoring our veterans, and not to forget those folks. That, you know, we've got to keep them in our hearts and our mind.
With the holiday season in full swing, the crowd was filled with veterans and family members of those who have passed. City Manager Ed Augustus says it's important to hold events like these during what may be a difficult time for families.
At this time of year, when so many people are enjoying their families and getting together at the holiday time, that so many people weren't able to enjoy the holiday season with their families because of their sacrifice for our country.
Patricia Nicholas.